I believe it's my time. I believe in who I am. Why I'm here to make a stand. I believe it's my time.
Hi, my name is Brooke Michaels. I'm the owner and designer of Little Blueberry Boutique and Yoga Studio. I was born and raised in Saugerties, and ever since I was a little girl, I took private art lessons right here in town. I told my mom and dad when I was 4 years old, I started art lessons, and I said, I'm gonna open a store in Saugerties at that young. I knew I would start my business here. I knew this is where I wanted to be. I make jewelry when I'm here throughout the day. All the jewelry you see in the shop, I made myself. All the clothing in the store, I hand select every piece. I'm also the buyer. Definitely the biggest challenge. I started so young. They would say like, no, what are you really gonna do when you grow up? And I was like, this is what I'm doing. So I taught myself. I tried all kinds of things on social media and Instagram and Facebook, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, the only way you know is by trying. When I went to FIT, I had been running the business for years already on social media, and I had Etsy's, Amazon, all kinds of accounts I would sell products on. And my professors really discouraged me actually from allowing me to use my business as an example. So when we did a press kit or we did a press release or we did a marketing campaign, I was told I couldn't use my business. So instead of it making me more successful, it just kind of held me back actually. And then when I graduated from there, I immediately opened up the store right after. If you don't have passion, then you don't have a business. And I tell people all the time that ask me, I have a lot of young girls that come in here and ask, I'm looking to start a business, what should I do? Or just make their own products and sell them. And I tell them, you can sell whatever you want. You can make underwear, I don't care what you make, as long as you're passionate about it and you believe in the product you're selling. That's how you sell something. I always wanted a boutique. It was a dream of mine since I was little, but also it's the whole aesthetic of the business. It brings it together. There's a space for taking pictures on social media. There's a vibe, there's a theme, everything connects and goes together. So it looks the whole part. There's highs and lows, but even the lows are really great because you learn from them and it either pushes you forward or drags you back. So you just gotta make it push you forward, push you forward. My biggest word of advice is you can do whatever you want if you're passionate about it. It's not about whether you have money to start a business or whether you have products or whether, how am I gonna make this work? Do I have a location? Do I have you can do whatever you want if you're passionate about it. Even if you start at the bottom up, that's how everybody starts. So start at the bottom up and just keep moving with the passion and you can achieve it.
Hi, my name's Taven Mitchell and I own Lucky Chocolates in the village of Saugerties. We've been open for about 2 years underneath me, but we've been established in the village and towards Woodstock for over a decade now. So when I was in high school, I went to a vocational school. We needed an internship to graduate. So I came to Lucky's when I was 16 to be a chocolatier, and I kind of obviously never left. Eventually I went to college for business. I graduated with an associate's, and then I started halfway through my bachelor's at New Paltz University, and I ended up not finishing because I bought Lucky's. There's so many new elements to owning a business that I think have been introduced in the past few years with social media and Instagram, Facebook, your online sites. You know, like the brick and mortar is kind of not exactly your top seller anymore. So not only do you have to make the product, you have to package it, but you have to take photos of it, and you have to post online and be funny and be creative in those own ways, and it's a lot.
This is Verona, my big sister. Yeah, I really got into Lucky's because of her. She needed help for a holiday. Her and Ray needed help for a holiday, and she was like, I know who can come help us. So she called me down, and I haven't left.
My advice for women would be to just do it, but be honest with yourself about how this is going to change your life. You know, it's rewarding, and you know, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me, but being honest with myself and saying that, you know, I work every single day. There's no off the clock for me yet. Well, I think that everyone would know if you don't have any passion, it's not going to go further than just the gears turning. You know, to thrive and to be successful in your own way, you have to have passion for what you're doing so you can push yourself and create new things and, you know, enjoy your job.
Hi, I'm Amy Marone, the proprietor here at Ohana Cafe in Saugerties, New York. We are a Hawaiian-named creperie that, if anybody isn't aware, Ohana means family. So I moved here to start Ohana Cafe from Hawaii, from Maui. It's definitely my home and where my heart is. I lived there for about 12 years. So when I moved here for family and to help my mom out a little bit, I decided to start my own business and bring a little taste of home with me. That feeling of community and things, which is how I grew up originally, has kind of faded away. So when I moved here and was looking for a place to open a cafe that kind of inspired that, I fell in love with Saugerties because it has a bunch of mom and pop stores, small little businesses. The community is very embracing. They come in and they help you out when you need to. You know, everybody supports each other the best that you can. And it's one of those things that I loved about Maui. But then the fun of it was to bring some of these amazing food dishes and things that you have with the fresh ingredients and great dishes into my food and to share that with people who don't know what they are. I guess my favorite thing about being the boss is not having to answer to someone else. It's funny because, you know, when you work for someone else, maybe you have an idea or a thought of maybe what can make that business better or how something might work a little bit easier, but it's not your business, so it's not your say. It's ultimately someone else's. So by being your own boss, you have that chance to change things, to fix things, to try new things out, to see what may work better, what may not, and you don't really have to answer to someone else. My word of advice for aspiring business owners, especially women and everything going into business, is don't give up, just endure through it. Make sure it's really something that you want to do, because there are so many struggles that you just don't think about. You have all this little extra things going on. If something breaks, you now have to fix it or are responsible for it. If someone calls in sick, you have to be able to take that place. The business still goes on, so you have to be sure to wear as many hats as you can and kind of go through and make sure that you can keep your doors open. I think passion plays a huge role in starting your own business and doing a business, because if you're not passionate about it, you probably won't go quite as far. Being passionate means that when there's all the struggles of making your rent, of your employees being able to feed their families, of paying your bills, of anything that's happening in the world that goes around, if you're not passionate about that, then you give up faster. I think it's really important to be passionate, because when you hear that backside voice from other people saying, you know, you're gonna fail or this or that, you have that little back kind of side of you that pushes you forward and makes you really kind of reach for the stars. So if you're not passionate enough about what you're trying to do, no matter what business you're in, you don't give it quite as much heart.
I'm Jennifer Barge, and we're in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm the owner-operator of J&B Transformations. It's a unique, one-of-a-kind transformational service, the #1 in the Southeast, and we cater to cross-dressers and transgender women. I've always had a love for beauty, hair, makeup, things like that. I really got started with my mom. I used to watch her do makeup, and I was fascinated with the transformation that could happen. Growing up, she taught me how to do makeup on myself, and that was amazing. Well, being a trans woman, there's lots of hurdles. There's lots of prejudices and stigma related to the trans community. There's a lot of hate and misunderstanding. There's assumptions that gender and gender expression equate sexuality. So if I am a trans woman, I must be wanting to be with a man or needing the help of a man. Or if I'm a trans woman, I'm really a gay guy trying to fool straight men for sex. What's really fulfilling for me is the trans and cross-dresser community. When you're doing the makeup and you transform them and you're talking with a person, and this, a lot of times they're first timers or people who felt a certain way inside. They felt feminine inside, and they've just never got to express it before. So this is the first time them seeing themselves when they look in the mirror with makeup, dressed, with a wig, you know, with the hair done, and they see themselves as they've always seen themselves. They don't see themselves in a different way, but they see what they've always felt inside. It's very powerful. It's very emotional. Lots of tears. Find out if there's really a need for the service or the business that you're wanting to do. Do a study on the demographics. Figure out, some people can have a dream, but if the dream isn't realistic, and by that I'm not saying, oh, don't follow your dreams, but I'm saying figure out the realistic ideas of if this is something in your area that there's a need for, if you can make money off of it. A big part of my business is also the confidentiality aspect. It's very important for my cross-dresser clientele to have a safe space to come to. It's a very secretive kind of desire these people have, and a lot of times not even their wives or family know about it. So that safe space is important, and also the confidentiality, like I said. And that's why I don't actually take pictures or post pictures before and after, because my clients actually don't like that. So basically, you just get me doing my own makeup.
I'm Linda Go, and I'm owner of Kamala Cove School for Non-Ordinary Studies here in Marshall, North Carolina. I also am a musician, composer. I do a lot of things. I'm an artist, engineer, audio engineer, and I write. I've been a business owner, started independently with my own business about 30 years ago as a landscape designer, and the challenges that I found working in the regular business world was mostly centered around that I was not only an independent creative thinker, but that a lot of my my contributions to male-owned businesses were not taken seriously and/or were put on a shelf. So as excited as I was about beginning my own business back in the late 80s, there were many challenges, and I had already experienced them in the landscape design firm that I was in before I left. And that was just the way men kind of used to think I was, either when I'd show up on the job that I was the wife of the property instead of the designer. So a lot of the guys on the cruise would come up to me and say, "Oh, is your husband home?" And I'd be like, "You're working for me." I realized that I had the youth and I had the passion behind me, and that's very attractive, to clientele anyways, to see someone so impassioned about their work. It made me realize a lot about women were just taken for kind of face value. If you have one thing that you're good at and you really love to do, and you're thinking, I'd like to make this my job, my career, really put everything into it. Focus only on that, and don't get distracted by what anybody else is doing, or that someone else is doing the thing that you want to do. Because everyone has a unique approach to everything. So also focus on you, focus on within what you want to do and how you want to do it. Do not move outside and externalize anything, because that's a distraction and it's going to take you off your path. It's going to make you doubt yourself. Somebody else is more beautiful, someone else is more clever, or that product, oh, they stole my idea or something. That's only going to take energy away from what you actually can contribute. So stay focused, trust in your creative idea, and don't be afraid to stick to it no matter what. That's key.
I'm Jill Ein Schneider,
holistic, intuitive life coach. I am called the Revolutionary Healer. I believe it's my time. I believe in who I am. Why I'm here to make a stand. Right now I'm living in Burnsville, North Carolina, and I'm having a wonderful life. I have owned my own business for 35 years. I practiced in Delray Beach, Florida for many years with a retreat business with people coming from around the world to learn how to detoxify their bodies, their minds, and be in more harmony with their spirit. I never even considered thinking any of it as a challenge. I mean, there's a survival instinct that really always pushed me forward. And I also come from a family of entrepreneurial people. And that's what I watched growing up, and I had no idea that this would be something that would be difficult. Passion is everything. Passion will keep you on the straight and narrow road to your own success, to your truth. Firstly, how passionate you are is going to spill over into this enthusiasm, which people will notice, and that's how you will really get the attention that you need for whatever it is you're doing in this business. Do your research. Check out your competition. Very important, and you can learn a lot from people who are already doing a business that you're interested in doing. And from there, we have everything in our hands to be able to learn about how to do things. We have Google. And that's how we learn. And every day we get better at what we're doing. And we have to think about what we're doing and even ask our higher power what to do next in order to make this thing, this business, this passion of yours happen. The greatest challenge for me to be in my own business is to keep my mouth shut and just go and do it and do what my heart tells me I should be doing every day of my life. I am more vibrant today at 75 than I've ever been in my whole life. I'm writing music, I'm playing my guitar, I'm writing books. I'm working with people who need my help in order to learn how to be their own revolutionary healer.
I'm Erica Boucher. I'm an author, educator, yoga teacher, and group travel facilitator. I live in Orlando, Florida, but I consider myself a citizen of the world. The best thing about being in business for myself is that I get to be limitlessly creative. There's nobody to stop me. If I can imagine something, if I can envision something, I can create it, I can make it happen. And whether it's writing a book, creating a yoga teacher training, I've got courses and coaching that I do because I'm passionate about it. I love it. I cannot not do this. I started off working with the homeless, teaching and counseling homeless adults. From there, I started writing my book. Then I went through a yoga teacher training, started teaching yoga, and brought my first yoga group to Costa Rica probably about 15 years ago. And now every year I bring people on small group travel around the world. We've been everywhere from Bali to Vietnam, Cambodia, Tahiti. I'm surprising myself with where this is going, and I love that. This limitless possibility, this field of limitless possibilities that we live in. I get to explore that without anybody telling me, no, I can't do it. Some mornings I'm up at 5 a.m. because I'm so excited about something that I'm doing. I wake up naturally before my alarm clock even goes off. And that's what I mean about being passionate. When you're passionate enough about what it is that you're doing, it's easy to take inspired action. The other thing I've noticed as a woman in business is I haven't personally run into too much sexual harassment or things like that from men. But I have noticed some women in the business community and in the local community that are not as supportive of me and my work as I would have thought. There are some leaders, women leaders in the community that either haven't been kind, who they just act like they don't know me, even though we've been in the same room together many, many, many times. And so I think that in some situations, women are threatened by other women that are really putting themselves out there. And part of the reason for that might be because of the bold and, well, I'll say bold nature of my book and my book cover. It was very interesting to see the reaction that the original book cover got. This was the original cover of my book. I did it in a tasteful way. You can't see anything. In fact, even my father said, it's beautiful, it's very tastefully done. I thought for sure he was going to have a coronary. But the interesting thing about it is the reaction that I got from people. Some people absolutely loved it when they read what I said in the introduction, when they heard why I went with that cover. After about 10 years, I decided to do a second edition. And at that time, I decided to go ahead and update the cover. Not because I was embarrassed or second guessing what I had done, but I realized it was becoming more about the cover than it was about the material inside. And I had already made my point. It was out there for 10 years, right? So I redid the cover, and this is the new cover, showing up naked. The idea here is hopefully to illustrate that it is within our grasp to be completely liberated, to be free to be ourselves, and to live the lives we want to live.
My name is Heather Bird. I live in Orlando, Florida, and I've been a massage therapist for the past 12 years. And I've owned my own business, A Room of Therapy, for 10 years. And I most recently just started my own essential oil line called Drops of Therapy. The most challenging thing about having my own business has been financially supporting myself and my business. I started my business when I was in my 20s, and I'm 38 now, and there's been many periods of that time where I was single, and so it's been kind of a one-woman show where I have to take care of everything, and I also have to have show up for my clients. I have to market myself. I wear a bunch of different hats, and I have to show up in a lot of different ways. I love having the ability to create my own schedule. Mornings are really important to me because of the work that I do. It's very physical, and so my mornings are like really important. And I can take my time in the mornings and create a little ritual for myself for the day so I can show up for my clients how I want to. So my advice to other women who would want to open up their own business is, there's a quote that comes to mind, it's Glennon Doyle, and it's, don't ask people to take you places they've never been. So talk to people who are in the industry that you want to get into, talk to other entrepreneurs, because they will want to help you. If it's your dream to have your own business, I would say trust yourself and your own inner voice. It's always great to get outside opinions and perspectives, but at the end of the day, know how to come back to yourself and listen to your own voice and trust yourself.
Hi, I'm Gina Keith. I'm the owner of One Yoga and Fitness in Claremont, Florida. My mission for One Yoga has evolved over the past 10 years. Initially, I was just really wanting to get yoga out into the mainstream and make it accessible. And as time went on, I really got more and more interested in teaching the yogic lifestyle and helping people to learn how to live in this age using these ancient principles, which I feel like are truly life-changing and life-saving. Well, I actually came to this world of yoga via being a personal trainer for 20 years out of my home, little studio in my home, and it grew and grew and grew. And finally, somewhere in about year 15, I started training to be a yoga teacher. I started practicing yoga and I got a new passion, and it ended up evolving that I really started to want to shift from personal training to teaching yoga. This is the other side of our studio. This is our hot room. In this space, we have both the cool and unheated classes. This room is one of my favorites because of the light in the morning. It just comes in beautifully through these windows and plays on the floors. It's kind of magic. Guys, let's see that extension. Yes, Elsie, beautiful. Reach it all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Inhale, reaching high. Owning a business requires a huge amount of dedication, persistence. It's something that requires most of all passion. You have to kind of be willing to live that intention constantly. Some days I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm already working this whole aspect of, keeping the studio viable. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And then bringing passion to every single class, coming in and really bringing and giving your all. I do it with this idea that everything is an offering. And so all of what goes into keeping this business going, for me, it is just all part of an offering of myself to the students, to the community, to God. Being a woman and running a business is a challenge. I know that, and I think what happens for women in general in business is that we struggle with that dynamic of being nurturing and mothering and caring, and also being what a business calls for, which is to sometimes be tough and to be strategic and to be planning and to be sometimes hard. And so, especially in the yoga industry, because it's predominantly attended by women and run by women, for me, it was pivotal to really come to this with a very solid business plan and a business mind, and to really be able to hold that ground and to stay in that space of being a businesswoman as well as a yogi. I think it falls apart for a lot of yoga studio owners because they struggle with that business aspect. They're all peace, love, and yoga, but there's that part that we have to draw in, which is that the strategy and the planning and the discipline of being a business person. A book that made a difference for me was called The E-Myth, Why Most Small Businesses Fail. And I just read that from cover to cover, and then I really dug into this idea of, okay, this is your passion, but this is also a business. And there's been times, you have to play the bad guy, and you've got to be okay with that, because women don't like to be in that role. And but I think that in the end game, it's been appreciated in the outcome. So.
I'm Lotus Kala. I'm the owner of Seascape Guest House in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm a Hippocrates health educator from the world-famous Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. And my Airbnb, people come from all over the world to be in this healthy environment. I have all the elements of health: structured, purified water, fresh air, good soil, food from the garden, which is wild food, fruit from the trees, and everything that you need to be healthy. I started Seascape because I wanted to do a permaculture food forest, and I wanted to grow food and collect seeds and share my knowledge with the people who came to stay here about how to grow food and how to juice and how to make salads from food from the garden with people that came here, and it was the perfect all-in-one place for me to share everything. I've been self-employed since I was 21 years old in the holistic health field, and my passion is to take care of my own health, and that's the best thing about being my own boss, is I have time to take care of me. I'm type 1 diabetic for 32 years, so I have a full-time job taking care of my health, and then I like to share that with others, teaching them how to take care of their own health. The wisdom that I have to share with other women who want to own their own business is just get started. Don't worry about the money. Just whatever your passion is, do that passion. But if you're following your passion, chances are that you will make more than enough money to support yourself and help others. Take a little step every day towards building your new business.
Hi, my name is Patricia Jones. I'm the owner of the New Vegan family business down here in Delray Beach, Florida. So we've been down here almost 8 years, going strong, and just excited for this, to share this lifestyle and this journey with our community. When we started, there was no Beyond Meat, there was no Impossible Burger. Everything was made from scratch. Our job and my mission was to show people that there are other alternatives than what was presented to us. With that, I feel proud that there are more vegan options out there and more alternatives, and not feeling like the oddball that, you're the only person that's eaten something that hasn't been slaughtered and whose life had to be sacrificed for you to enjoy. My biggest challenge as a female business owner is the respect that's deserved. Women do what we do so naturally that there's no thought behind it. It's just kind of expected of us. So me for myself, feel like I would have to work 10 times harder. The male egos out there, being tougher on yourself. You're your own critic, and as a female business owner, you definitely gotta work 10 times harder. The best thing about being my own boss is the challenges that I set for myself. So every day I push myself harder and harder. Nothing about being your own boss is easy. We've dealt with a lot, with situations with, Black Lives Matter and everything that's been going on in our world. A horrible situation, where, still lives are still being taken unjustly, and, we've had family members who suffered through the same scenarios that a lot of other families been dealing with. My cousin, with police brutality, and people get offended, with why isn't Black Lives Matter? That doesn't mean anyone else's life don't matter, and they're taking it out of context, because it's not saying that anyone's life don't matter. Of course it matters. It's just trying to acknowledge that we exist as well. You know what I mean? And we are one, and we work just as hard. I have a lot of friends who are all different types of race, and they all, just on the same page as us, is supportive and just as disgusted. And I think people look the other way for so long that they forgot that it exists, unless it happens to them directly. My son is a young Black man, and my husband, of course, my brother, we worry every day if we're, gonna be punished just simply because of how we were born. The challenge being a woman in a business, that challenges the Black woman on top of that. That's just, that's why I don't ever sit down. I'm definitely proud of, what I've done, and just ready to tend to others in different ways. I'm ready to open that new chapter and see what else God has planned for me, and what's the next thing I can do for the next person.